I just wanted to know what this felt like, propped up here on the edge of a cliff, ready to push off down a 25-foot fall into the water. Let me just say right now, I got no intention of doing it. And what I find even harder to believe is that there are people who forget the risk. They do this for the fun.
You got to be 100% in the kayak, not thinking about another thing.
Rumors surfaced that a diamond of 900 carats was found, approximately 900 carats. Hearing that, my whole body just said, I must go find that diamond. I made 3 trips until we were able to locate the stone and buy it.
So he committed a fortune to buy the largest uncut diamond in the world.
Besides the adventure and the excitement, it's camaraderie more than anything.
It's like witnessing a thunderstorm. It's a firestorm.
The Redding hotshots spent 30 days on the line in the Yellowstone fire. We'll be with them.
Phyllis is once a true ophidiophobiac, a person who actually has a phobia of snakes. He is silent and he is quick. And that's what makes a rattlesnake a nocturnal, heat-seeking, spring-loaded, chemoreceptive hypodermic needle.
He enjoys nothing better than a head-to-head encounter with diamondback rattlers. We'll be in a darkened mine shaft when the master blaster does his trick.
Safety is first underground. The worst in the mines is to be squashed. I've seen cave-ins where rocks as big as cars would come right out of the back.
Hi, I'm Wayne Rogers, and this is High Risk. We were allowed exclusive access to one of the methods used for moving very expensive cargo from one part of New York to another.
Here he comes, here he comes.
The possibility of hijacking always exists, particularly when the value of the cargo is in the millions of dollars. The package being carried into the auctioneer's offices contains an item that may be worth tens of millions of dollars. The price will be determined at auction tomorrow. Secrecy and security surround the largest diamond in the world ever to be sold. It bears the fitting name, the Incomparable. Every once in a while at a very exclusive party, I've been dazzled by the sight of a big diamond. Invariably, someone will whisper, wow, that's at least 4 carats. So far as I know, the top-of-the-line diamonds cost about $30,000 for 1 carat, and it goes up geometrically from there. Give or take a few thousand, that 4-carat rock probably cost $250,000. Now just imagine how much money is involved when a perfect diamond is 407.5 carats. Marvin Samuels loves the risks and rewards of dealing with really big diamonds.
Rumors surfaced that a diamond of 900 carats was found, approximately 900 carats. Hearing that, my whole body just said, I must go find that diamond. So I did a little detective work. I called many associates of mine in Europe and all over the world to see if they heard about the diamond. Some said they heard, some said they didn't. Then I received a call back from a close associate of mine. He says he thinks he knows who has the diamond. I got on the next plane. went to Europe, and when I got there, the stone was not there. I made 3 trips until we were able to locate the stone and buy it. As soon as I looked at the stone, it took me exactly 30 seconds to say, this diamond is mine. It was a question now of just being able to buy the stone for the right price.
You'll not reveal the price, but this valuable misshapen rock must be winnowed down into a perfectly cut diamond. The delicate job fell to diamond cutter Hy Kessler.
Hy's been working for me for the last 25 years, and Hy is one of the finest cutters in the world, and I trust him. We cut many, many large diamonds. As you can see, I have here many models of large diamonds which we cut in the past, and he has cut them all. And I trust him as being the finest diamond cutter in the world.
Don't forget, there never was a stone made like that. I don't know anybody that ever made a stone like that. And here I was, the first time working on a stone like that, not being scared, but there's a certain amount of nerve that goes through your body. And while working on every facet, there's a tingling in your body, and it's an excitement, basically. And don't forget, a stone like this doesn't let you sleep at night also.
A diamond wheel cuts diamonds, and each time the stone is brought in contact with the edge, the slightest mistake can turn the entire diamond into dust. It's something like dying. Each cut grinds away many carats from the diamond, at the same time excising flaws.
We're all human beings, and we live with the fear of death. We live with the fear of death every day. You never know when death will hit you. You just block that out of your mind. The same way when you buy a very, very big diamond and you do know that there is a chance of shattering, and something that was worth $1 million could be worth.
I'm handed a rock, and when I finish, I give back a thing of beauty, and that alone excites me.
The black moment was when we're cutting the diamond and we saw that we probably will not finish the diamond 531 plus. And that was a very black moment, because our goal was really to finish the diamond being the largest diamond in the world. So that was the blackest moment.
What did you do that day?
What did I do that day?
Yeah.
I don't smoke, but I took 1 cigarette.
Because of small flaws, Marvin had to choose between record size and perfection. The cutting continued with the incomparable losing carat after carat.
Well, the happiest moment of the stone was when the stone was finished, and I knew that the next morning I wouldn't have to come in the morning, go into Hy and see the stone being cut. And then the second happiest moment was when we had the stone graded by the GIA, the Gemological Institute of America, that the stone was flawless. Being flawless is one in tens and tens of millions.
407.5 carats. Flawless beyond the dream of any bride-to-be.
Now we have over here a diamond that weighs approximately 35 points, and one diamond weighing approximately 60, and one diamond here weighing 75 points. The average engagement ring is approximately 35 points. So this is the average size of a diamond ring that is sold in the United States. And this is the incomparable. This is a stone that weighs 407.5 carats. So you can see the difference between the average diamond that's sold, and that's why this is the incomparable, because this is the second largest diamond in the world. It is the largest fancy cut diamond in the world and fancy color in the world.
Scheduled to go on auction, the business of transporting a diamond valued in the millions becomes a cloak and dagger operation worthy of James Bond. Elaborate precautions and public display of security may mask the real method of transporting the incomparable. The fact is, it may or may not be in the box that the guard is carrying. Diamond carriers almost never show public signs of security. Those famous briefcases handcuffed to the messengers, they almost always turn out to be blinds. Anyone walking the street could be the courier. The more inconspicuous and unlikely looking, the greater the probability is that that person has the diamond in his or her pocket.
I mean, the sale of this diamond is certainly a very high point in Christie's history, in the diamond's history, and in my personal career. I mean, it's something, I don't think I ever dreamed that this would happen. The question is, who is going to buy this diamond? And that we don't know at this stage. I'm feeling that it will be someone who will want it on display, who will name it after him or her, maybe a country, maybe the head of a state, museum. But it will be more than Mr. X wanted to give it to his wife. That diamond is the way to be part of history.
There's no question that the stone was very saleable in the rough state. We could have made a profit after we bought the stone, but that is no challenge. There's no challenge in buying an item today and selling it tomorrow. That's only a monetary gain, which we're all in for. But there's no challenge. The challenge of making a diamond and finishing a diamond that'll be the largest in the world, even the second largest in the world, is something that has not been accomplished until now. And it's a challenge that I love to take. I love my business, and I love the challenge. Without the challenge, I wouldn't be sitting here. I would be doing something else. And our challenge is every day risking and doing, and that's why we're in the diamond business.
Marvin Samuel's reward for the chance he took and his years of work occurred when the diamond was put on display in the Smithsonian. Tomorrow, the auction block.
A kiss on the hand may be quite continental, but diamonds are a girl's best friend. A kiss may be grand, but it won't pay the rental on your humble flat or help you at the automat. Men grow cold as girls grow old, and we all lose our charms in the end. But square cut or pear shape, these rocks don't lose their shape. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. Tiffany's.
It's kind of a heroic thing to do, and not everyone is willing to make a sacrifice.
Once you let yourself into the grips of the rapid, you have to ride it out. So I'm a little nervous, but I'm confident in my skills and my equipment, so I think hope for the best.
I feel it's a real privilege to witness such miracles of nature. Just like witnessing a thunderstorm, it's a firestorm.
Besides the adventure and the excitement, it's camaraderie more than anything.
Most of the public doesn't see the bottom line. Us down here scratching line, working 16, 18, 24-hour shifts.
There's situations that happen out there that probably should produce fear. I've got half of my beard burned off this year. I was a little too close, I guess.
We all pull together. We watch each other.
And that's pretty much how we deal with the high risk.
You either want to be here or you don't want to be here.
There's nothing that I'd rather be doing right now at this time of my life.
For 3 months, 25,000 men and women fought the fire at Yellowstone Park. Volunteers, National Guardsmen, professional firemen, and firefighting specialists were drawn together in the desperate attempt to contain the blaze. Viewed from safe outposts, the fire and smoke appalled us. Up close, working in the inferno, the first-line firefighters constantly risked their lives as shifting winds and bone-dry timber exploded around them. The work called for specialists, men and women willing to risk extraordinary dangers. One team was known as the Redding Hotshots.
The Redding Hotshots.
Copy, fire dispatch. Location? West Yellowstone. It'll take me approximately an hour and a half, 2 hours to get the crew together.
The Redding Hotshots are an elite team of firefighters that are sent into the front lines of major fires. Each year, a new crew is drawn from applicants who must be career employees with the U.S. Forest Service or closely related agencies with little or no firefighting experience. The hotshot team consists of 20 men and women who have been through 6 weeks of training and preparation. They're highly motivated, ambitious, and dedicated. They spend 6 months away from home, living in camps near the fire lines, and sometimes spending days and nights in the fire area itself.
I work watershed and fisheries normally. The agencies that we work for want us to get more involved in fire suppression.
I'm here on this detail, on this hotshot crew, to learn more about how fuels burn.
And this gives us a real opportunity to see the real extreme fire behavior. I've taken this detail for the summer just to bolster my fire line credentials, and hopefully I'm going to change into fire rather than watershed, because I like fire. I do enjoy it. It is very exciting. It is very fulfilling work, feeling that we're doing something that really needs to be done.
Everybody has a huge desire to get along and do a good job.
That's the reward, is that you're doing the best you can to help fight the fires.
Well, it's kind of a heroic thing to do, and not everyone is willing to make the sacrifice.
And that's probably the hardest part of being on this detail for the summer, is being gone from the family for so long. It's a 6-month, 7-month detail, and it's pretty tough to be 1,000 miles away from home.
Everybody watches out for each other. You have to.
And it's very seldom that you can get 20 people to live together 24 hours a day and put them in arduous physical situations and keep the morale up like we have.
You really get to know the people that you work with, and it's not just 1 year, it's year after year. You know, you meet the same people, and you get close to those people, and you trust them.
You know, maybe it's your chance to shine. Maybe it's your chance, your opportunity in life to do something that other people won't do. Maybe that's what makes firemen be firemen.
There's nothing that I'd rather be doing right now at this time in my life.
I've never had any second thoughts about the career that I've chosen. I've loved every minute of it. I would do it exactly the same. My life's been wonderful in doing this, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Some of the emotional responses of my family are only heard by me over the telephone and through letters. But what I pick up over the phone is when I answer the phone and my wife or the kids on the other end, they say hello, I say hello, and then their voice starts to quiver a little bit.
It's our job. When there's fire, we're expected to go to it. It's what we're here to do. People naturally get excited. Try to stay calm, but you naturally get excited. You get the adrenaline pumping, and everybody starts trying to do what needs to be done. And you start wondering if everything's going to come together. Are we going to run out of daylight? Are we going to spend the night in the black? Is the helicopter going to come in, and did I get the branches cut off low enough? Is it going to get a tail rotor strike? We're just finishing the final stages of line construction. We had 4 saw teams out in front cutting the deadened down logs, and then cutting the trees, clearing the vegetation so that the fire could not cross it. The fire became very active later on in the day as it heated up, and it spotted across the line in numerous places.
Being out in the woods is high risk. You prepare yourself for the danger. You can put it within acceptable limits of safety.
In Yellowstone, half of the forest, or 2/3 of the forest, was standing dead snags.
It's an old dead tree. It's been standing for a lot of years without its bark and dead.
And walking around out there knowing that there's a snag ready to fall with your name on it is pretty scary.
Yeah, you have to be what they call heads up. You have to be aware and looking around, and you have to be able to count on the people you're with. And that's pretty much how we deal with the high risk, is being aware of the potential accidents that can happen.
There's situations that happen out there that probably shouldn't produce fear.
Using chainsaws at night with the headlamp, it's not enough light to use a saw safely, really.
The buzzing saws, the crackle of fire, burning trees falling, and the knowledge that any sudden burst of wind can wrap the fire around them. This is a night in Yellowstone with the Redding Hotshots.
can't even get him to strike unless you totally aggravate him.
Now, if you really encroach on this animal and actually approach him, you could probably draw a strike. He'll strike about 7¼ feet per second.
It takes a special person, I suppose, to go ahead and love this type of world, of danger, of blackness. When your lamp goes out, you see nothing. There's no such thing as even a wince of light from anywhere. It's black.
You got to make it, really what it boils down to, because once you let yourself into the grips of the rapid, you have to ride it out.
I'm glad I'm down here. Up there is rattlesnake country. Now, our special guest host, Mary Lou Retton, is used to being in high places, but not necessarily with our slithering friends.
The retractable fangs, the thermal receptive pits, the chemoreceptive tongue, and his 2200 vision with his elliptical pupil in his eye are all mechanisms for capturing prey. And that's what makes a rattlesnake a nocturnal, heat-seeking, spring-loaded, chemoreceptive hypodermic needle.
Well, you got it there.
He lives on the grounds of the Tanque Verde Dude Ranch in Arizona, and I'm glad of that. Like most people, I get kind of queasy when I see snakes. Just knowing that they make their homes on hills like this and sun themselves in the afternoon keeps me walking on city streets. But if I ever decided that I wanted to learn how to handle a snake, I'd go visit Jerry Brewer, who doesn't think of handling a rattler as a risky business.
There are true phobics. Phobia is hard to overcome. And when people come and call me or they come out and want to go out on a snake hunt and get over their phobias, you have to do it slow at their pace. But if they wish to get over their phobia, they can come out and slowly learn about the animal, and with education, you totally eliminate fear with an understanding of the animal.
Well, I met Jerry about 6.5 years ago. He called me and wanted to know if we needed a snake program at the ranch, and we certainly did, and he came out and has been here ever since, first as a program and then as our naturalist, full time.
The first thing you have to do to get people over their fear of rattlesnakes here at the ranch is to actually have them go out and face the animal and get right out into the desert. And here they're going with all these terrible thoughts, and then when you do meet one, you find that he's a very gentle and docile creature which simply wants to be left alone, and seeing is believing. You can't even get him to strike unless you totally aggravate him.
Now, if you really encroach on this animal and actually approach him, you could probably draw a strike. He'll strike about 7¼ feet per second. There you can see the strike and the venom on the end of the boot.
These people know that this is a wild snake. It's not a captive animal. He's not trained. And all of a sudden, you debunk all these terrible stories that they've heard, and then they become a believer.
He does not want to have to make a stand like this on something like a human being.
I think I was born afraid of snakes, and it got worse as I got older. I had a couple of frightening encounters with them, and it just became a phobia, a terror.
Snakes are much more afraid of us than we are of them.
He just seems to want to run away.
Yes, he wants to leave. See, we can successfully pin him here. Take a look at the mechanism which most people fear.
It really was necessary in this job for me not to be afraid of snakes.
Get this fellow to say, ah.
The guests would tell me that they had seen a snake, and they realized by my reaction that I was terrified of them.
And here he has he has insidious fangs. He has a double fang on the left side, and he has a single fang on the right.
Just to go out and see one on the desert would ruin my whole day. I would come running back to safety and be afraid to go out for several days.
These are enzymatic proteins which assist the snake in digesting its prey. This is a benefactor to the desert or the forest. They belong. They do have a place in nature.
A show on television that had snakes, 2 looks, and I changed channels. I just couldn't stay in the same room.
What we'll do is return him back exactly to where he was, and let him be, because this is where he belongs. Now, Phyllis at one time could not even look at one in a book or stand one on TV or anything.
Cold chills and tears, but a lot of interest. It was something I really wanted to do very badly. And I figured now was the time. I've worked up to this this time, all these years, and today was finally it.
Can you photograph goosebumps?
Sheer terror, partly.
About 6 inches down from the head. As a friend.
Okay, friend, snake.
There you go.
Oh, God.
Jerry. It's not going to hurt you.
It feels lovely, doesn't it?
Fantastic. Look at that.
Today was sort of graduation day, I guess, but I actually screwed up all my courage and picked one up off the ground, and that was a step.
That took an awful lot of fortitude from Phyllis to do that. She is now a graduate of Jerry's snake school, I guess.
I wonder if he's as scared as I am.
My whole goal about educating people about snakes is to help people enjoy the outdoors without the fear of meeting this creature. And if they do meet this creature, it's still an enjoyable experience instead of a terrible trauma which people make it, to totally throw this away and make it enjoyable and leave the creature alone. That way the animal I love isn't destroyed and he stays intact where he should be, and that is in the wild. Unfortunately, when man meets snake, the snake is the loser. He ends up on a mantle wall or on a belt or a skin. I've never had a snake shoot a weapon at me, and they did in Vietnam. I never had a snake deliberately send me to Vietnam, but people did. They both have their likes and their dislikes. Some people are snakes, and I hate to say that about snakes.
We call Billy Varga the Master Blaster. He prowls through mines, searching for indications that there might be gold in them thar hills. Every time he sets off an explosion, there's the danger that the mountain can come tumbling down on him. But Billy wouldn't have it any other way.
Been underground for 25 years. Got engineering, a mine superintendent for Hugh Roy Marshall here at the Big Ophir mine here in Virginia City. It's a very hazardous occupation at best. You do, without any reservation, do eat a little bit of dust, a little bit of powder gas, a little bit of diesel smoke. It's just part of the business. Everybody on the Comstock knows I love what I do. I didn't want to be a banker. I did not want to be a surgeon. I did not want to be anything else but what I do. And like I say, I got 25 years and I'm still walking around. It takes a special person, I suppose, to go ahead and love this type of world. Of danger, of blackness. When your lamp goes out, you see nothing. There's no such thing as even a wince of light from anywhere. It's black. But it's the lore of it. It's something that most people don't even want to do. And my daughter loves it. She's proud of me. And she kisses me all the time. She wears her little hard hat. And she's a miner's daughter. That's why her nickname is Clementine. And she's neat.
All right, you be a good girl.
No, this is a miner's family. My men are the most important thing. Safety is first underground. The worst in the mines is to be squashed. I've had 7 ribs broken in my back, 3 front ribs broken, my tongue half chewed, my right arm broken. I got 5 bolts in my right leg that is still there. My left eye was damaged by a piece of drill steel when I was drilling and blasting. I've seen cave-ins where rocks as big as cars would come right out of the back and have squashed people. I've seen my fellow miner cut right in 2 down in Brandsburg. And I won't tell you the gory details of that. It was very sanguinary. It was very harsh, very terrible. we get stuff like this on here, we got to follow it, and we will. Probably take another 1,000 feet to even make an ore body, but we'll follow it. And that's what the business we are in. I sure in the hell like it, though. It's good stuff. And we're going to put a rounding on this side, huh?
Try to.
Good. Go ahead and we'll blast this about another half an hour or so and get set up. We'll do a little drilling. Make another 20 tons for us, huh? Well, I'll tell you, mining hasn't changed in the last 100 years. The first thing you do is go ahead and set up a rock drill. In the old days, it was done by hand. Today, we have, like I say, high-speed rock drills that drill the holes. The same fashion, except faster. The holes, instead of being 3 foot deep, are about 6 foot deep. Then the powder monkey goes up there, which is the miner, puts the fuses together with the number 6 caps, puts them in the powder, and each hole is loaded right to 2/3 of the hole's depth. The worst thing that I've seen in my career of 25 years of being underground, why men go ahead and get themselves blasted in two, is they wait too long because of what fuses. And before you know it, his time has run out, and he gets blasted. And it's not a very pretty sight. It's taken us a lot of work. We spent a lot of thousands of dollars in this, just in the timber alone, not including machinery, wages, hardships. But one of these days, we will hit it big. We've hit a couple few stringers in there, just like this. That looks really super good. And maybe, hopefully soon, we will hit the big bonanza one more time.
On the powder box I do stand. To show her my love, my sweetheart's the mule in the mine.
The thing I really don't want to do on the weekends is mine. Although I love my business, I want to do something else. Some of my hobbies is working in plays. And I do like to make people happy. I like to make them laugh and chuckle. All my miners, when I would go to these plays, they always come. They laugh at their boss. There's no getting around that. The most funniest one that I've done is Mountain Men Go Ballet. And I mean to tell you, the most ridicule I've ever had from all my friends, they laugh at me because they think it's funny. Because here, the most top-notch miner on the Comstock load, the toughest, is wearing a tutu and dancing around. Even they gave me $1 million right now, I'd go ahead and still love the lore of the underground. And if everybody ever comes up to me and says, because of greed of finding high grade is the only reason I work on the ground, and whereas I might be able to get killed and jeopardizing my daughter's happiness, like I say, that's totally not what it's all about.
Last time I tried to do it, I only made it halfway.
Taking a high risk, as we've been seeing, can pay off, but not always.
I practiced gymnastics for 6 hours a day for 10 years, and it really didn't leave much time for a lot of other activities. But I made a list of things I wanted to do, and taking a whitewater river run was one of them. I always figured it'd be really exciting in one of those big rubber rafts. But in a little kayak, I'm not so sure. And not in water like this. But for Chuck Stanley, it's a high-risk sport.
I really like doing this kind of whitewater is, you know, your normal day-to-day life, you're just walking down the street, not paying much attention to what you do. But here, you've got to be 100% in the kayak, not thinking about another thing. You're just kayaking 100%. So it's like pure thought. It's really the way I like things. It's not so much physical, but mental. You're just 100% there. I'm a chemist working in the research department. And what I'm working on right now is an advanced solid rocket motor for the space shuttle. Right now, the space shuttle is just coming back online, and the project I'm working on is a second generation, improved version of the space shuttle. And anytime you make a new rocket propellant, there's inherent risk involved. So to minimize the risk, we use the mechanical arms and do all the procedures remotely to ensure safety. I have to take careful notes and be very, very precise on all the things I do. So that's why I really look forward to going out on the weekends and having a great time, just enjoying the whitewater, enjoying kayaking, not worrying about every darn nitpicking detail I have to come across. Well, what we're doing today is going kayaking on the Tuolumne River, and it's actually running it all summer, and it's getting towards the end of summer, so it's now or never, so I'm going to give it a try.
From the moment Chuck Stanley enters the falls, he will be in the grip of the river for 15 seconds. That becomes a lifetime. A flimsy kayak stands between disaster and safety. That, plus skill and a rare brand of courage, is what it takes to run whitewater.
Yeah, your oil can.
They don't make them like they used to. Yeah, water looks like about 1,200 CFS, Lord.
Right,
looks real good.
The kayak overturning, whipped by the rushing water, poses the greatest danger. Chuck Stanley feels the thrill of achievement outweighs the risk he's taken.
I'm a little nervous about running Lumsden Falls because, you know, last time I tried to do it, I only made it halfway, and there's a part halfway where someone can grab you out of the rapid, literally, and that's what happened to me. So I'm going to go back and give it another try, and you got to make it, really what it boils down to, because once you let yourself into the grips of the rapid, you have to ride it out. So I'm a little nervous, but I'm confident in my skills on my equipment, so I think hope for the best. Lori and I met on the river, and when we go down the river together, we really help each other get down the river. She was here mainly today, acting as a safety boat. Rivers are rated Class 1 through Class 6, where Class 1's easy. Pretty much anyone on an inner tube can make it. Class 6 is the most difficult, most dangerous rapids that people are willing to run. Now, Lumsden Falls is a Class 6, and what that means is to be run by experts under ideal conditions. Just the right water flow, the right kind of day. Like today, if it was snowing, I wouldn't be out there doing it because it's very dangerous and you want everything just right for you.
The trip down to Lumsden Falls looks dangerous enough. It's hard to imagine a rougher ride, but the real enemy still lies ahead. He will have a quick rest before attempting the dangerous waters of Lumsden Falls.
I started kayaking probably when I was about 6 years old. My father was a kayakist, and our whole family was involved in canoeing and kayaking. We started out, you know, not on something like this, but a nice, easy, tranquil lake and rivers. And I got started with my brother and I, and we started kayaking about when we were 6 years old. We were 9 when we got our very own kayaks. We were so little we couldn't even pick up our kayaks. Both my brother and I had to take turns carrying each other's kayak to the river. That's how we got started.
Like a general surveying the battlefield before combat, Chuck takes a long last look and tries to plot his way through the rest of the rapids.
it's really crucial to have someone at the bottom of a big rapid like this. You can't go out and do this all by yourself and have any sort of safety factor built in. Because if I do have a problem and I'm injured or something, you really need someone at the bottom to help you get to the shore and do what they can for you.
Once he puts his kayak in the water and takes 3 strokes, he will hit the point of no return.
Really good at kayaking, I got involved in kayak racing. I tried out for the Olympics in 1972 and I didn't quite make it. I was only 16, but after that I got on several U.S. world teams and went to Europe and kayak raced and went to international competitions. That's where I really honed my skills. That him and a hawn at the top and looking at it, that just takes it out of you. It's so cute. Hey, how was it? Oh, it was wild. It was wild. The whole key to that silly rapid is the very top. We go up that rock, and I was going for a shallow dive, hoping to bury, then pop up, and I landed flat as a pancake and took off, and I just kind of held on for the rest of the ride. It was just straight down the middle from there. You can't go around hooting and hollering. You know, even if you have a good experiment or whatever, you know, you gotta, well, that was a nice experiment and it's very serious. But when you get out here, there's no one, you know, no one's filling out my review to give me the raise or whatever. You know, I can be the way I want to be. So there's just whatever you want to do, it's out here. Just be the way you are.
Our last look at high risk is on the lighter side. So we go to London and our special contributor David Frost, who has cataloged high risks and great failures.
Time now for another cautionary tale about high risk from your resident Jeremiah. It concerns the First World War, which was, of course, an absolute risk riot. It's the story of the K-boats. The British Admiralty decided at the height of the war to take a big risk and construct a flotilla of K-boats, which were giant 325-foot-long steam-powered submarines for traveling overseas, underseas, and catching the Germans by surprise. So how did the K-boats fare? Well, it wasn't the Germans who were surprised. Just listen. K2 caught fire on its first dive. K3 sank to the bottom while being inspected by the Prince of Wales and had to be salvaged. K3 was then rammed by K6 on manoeuvres and sank. K4 ran aground. K5 sank with the loss of all hands. K7 rammed K17 and had to be scrapped. I can see what you're thinking. K-boats were an extremely deadly weapon, especially where other K-boats were concerned. K14 sprang a leak while still in dock. Later at sea, K14 rammed K22 and sank. K17, during the same sea trials, rammed first an escorting cruiser and then K7. K17 then went out of control and sank. K22 was rammed by another escorting cruiser. Within 12 months, the whole K-boat project was abandoned. But war in general is the highest risk business of all. Take the case of General Sir John Sedgwick during the Battle of the Wilderness in the Civil War. The good general decided to take a risk, and he inspected all of his troops while standing fearlessly gazing out over a parapet. His officers urged him to duck down, but the general had scant respect for the enemy and decided to ignore their warnings. Nonsense, he declared. They couldn't hit an elephant at this distance. Famous last words.
Tomorrow, the auction.
Now just imagine how much money is involved when a perfect diamond is 407.5 carats.
No 400 carats diamonds have ever been sold, and frankly, no diamond over 85 carats have ever been sold at auction. So it's very difficult to know and to decide on the price of this stone. What we know is that so far the most expensive diamond ever sold at auction was nearly $10 million. However, it was not in this league, it was not in the category 85 carats versus 407 carats. In addition, you have the largest diamond in the world which will ever be for sale and a flawless stone. So all these factors make it, I wouldn't say impossible, but very difficult to value the diamond. I mean, certainly be way over the previous figure of $10 million. I would say in the $20 million range at the moment, but I really do not know.
Next on High Risk, from the challenge of the operating room, this doctor relaxes in the high waves of Fiji.
Doing something that's equally intense is the best way to get away.
We'll go trading in the hectic world of the commodities exchange.
I've been known to have a few bad days where I've lost $1 million.
Rappel 300 feet into the uncharted darkness of a cave.
I could down there, I could die. You know, something could happen.
Fly air races in a home-built speedster.
It's the fastest motorsport in the world as far as we know.
This is Dan Rather, an experimental drug that could give addicts an easy way to quit. That story tomorrow on the CBS Evening News.
Now stay tuned for Fatal Judgment, based on a true story of a nurse's murder trial. The CBS Tuesday movie, next.